Hi, my name is KJ Navarro and this is Think Pharma YouTube channel. In this channel, we post videos that can help you better understand pharmacy and other healthcare topics. So if you are watching this, consider subscribing. In today's video, I will give an introduction to anatomy and physiology, what is the structural organization of the body, and we will also have a quick look at the 11 organ systems of the body. In order to take anatomy and physiology, we need to understand what it is that we are studying. So what does anatomy mean and what does physiology mean? Anatomy is the study of the structure and shape of the body and its parts and their relationship to one another. So when we are talking about anatomy, we are talking about the structure of the body, what are they made of, where they are located, and what are their associated structures. When we are talking about physiology, it is the study of how the body and its parts work or function. It is the study of the functions of those anatomical structures, and the easiest way to describe physiology would just be how things work. Anatomy can be divided into subspecialties. So when we say gross anatomy, it is also known as macroscopic anatomy. So macro meaning large or visible. So we can look at it without magnification. So we'd be able to easily see this without using a microscope or any other type of magnification. Under gross anatomy, we have surface anatomy, regional anatomy, and sectional anatomy. When we say surface anatomy, it is the study of the surface of the body. So looking at just the exterior or outside parts of the body without any dissection. So we can be looking at the surface markings of the body to understand internal anatomy through visualization and palpation or gentle touch. When we say regional anatomy, this is looking at a specific body area. So for example, if you want to study the head and the neck, specifically that would be the cephalic and the cervical region. Sectional anatomy is when we take cross sections through the body and study those cross sections like what is often done in a CT scan or MRI. If we have macroscopic anatomy, we also have microscopic anatomy. This is when we do have to use magnification to study the anatomy. This will include cells and molecules. So when we're studying cells, this is also known as cytology, and the study of the microscopic structure of tissues is also known as histology. Also, a subspecialty of anatomy would be developmental anatomy. So this is the study from conception to adulthood. So this could include embryology, which is the study of fetal development or also known as the study of the embryo. So this is, we are looking at the first 8 weeks of development after fertilization of a human egg. Developmental anatomy studies the complete development of an individual from fertilization to death. We also have systemic anatomy, which is the study of the structure of specific systems of the body, such as the nervous or the respiratory systems. We also have radiographic anatomy, which studies the body structures that can be visualized with X-rays. And lastly, we have pathological anatomy, which studies the structural changes. It can be gross or microscopic changes that is associated with disease. Physiology can also be divided into subspecialties. So, under physiology, we have cell physiology, which is the study of the individual functions of cells. Organ physiology is when we are studying the function of the whole organ, and systemic physiology is looking at the function of the whole organ system. And then, under physiology, we also have pathological physiology, or what we call pathophysiology, which is when we are studying the effects of disease on specific organs. So, this is a physiological changes brought about by a disease. To have a deeper understanding of the human body, let us look at the hierarchy of life, or the levels of organization. So let us start at the bottom, where we find the atoms. So the atoms are the smallest and the most stable units of matter, and when we combine atoms with specific types of bonds, we get molecules, which are a group of atoms. So examples of this would be proteins. There are complex molecules that can form larger structures called organelles, and these organelles are tiny parts inside of the cell that have specific functions. If we group up the organelles including the cell membrane, we get the cell, which is the smallest living unit in the human body. If we group similar cells together that work as a team, we get the tissue level. And if we group similar tissues together, we get organs. If we put together an organ and accessory organs that work with it, we get the organ system. Humans have 11 organ systems, and if we combine all 11 organ systems together, we get the whole organism. So let us briefly look at the different organ system of the body, starting with the integumentary system. So the major organs involved in the integumentary system would be the skin, the hair, the sweat glands, and the nails. The integumentary system protects our body against environmental hazards. It also helps regulate body temperature, and it provides sensory information. If you have problems with the integumentary system, we usually consult a dermatologist. A dermatologist is a doctor who specializes in treating diseases of the integumentary system. The major organs of the skeletal system are the bones, the cartilages, associated ligaments, and the bone marrow. The skeletal system provides support and protection for other tissues of the body, and it also helps in the storage of calcium and other minerals. It also helps the body by forming blood cells within the marrow cavities of certain bones. The muscular system consists of the skeletal muscle and associated tendons and aponeurosis. The function of the muscular system is to provide movement, support and protection for other tissues, and generate heat that maintains body temperature. An orthopedic doctor specializes in the care and treatment of the musculoskeletal system. The nervous system consists of the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, or the CNS, consists of the brain and the spinal cord, while the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS, consists of the peripheral nerves and the sense organs. The nervous system directs immediate responses to stimuli, and it also coordinates activities of other organ systems. It also provides and interprets sensory information about external conditions. A neurologist specializes in the diagnosis, treatment, and management of disorders involving the nervous system. One of the important organ systems of the body is the endocrine system, which consists of the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the pancreas, the adrenal glands, and the gonads, which are the ovaries in females and testes in males. In the endocrine system, we also use molecules called hormones that are signaling molecules or chemical regulators in the blood. The endocrine gland releases hormones into the bloodstream, and then they travel through the bloodstream to many tissues of the body. The scientific study of hormones and endocrine organs is called endocrinology. The endocrine system has several functions, such as the direct long-term changes in the activities of other organ systems, and it also adjusts metabolic activity and energy used by the body, and it also controls many structural and functional changes during development. Endocrinologists are medical doctors who have specialized training in the endocrine system and can help diagnose, treat, and manage the illnesses that can arise when hormone imbalances or endocrine gland problems occur. The cardiovascular system is composed of the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. The functions of the cardiovascular system can be divided primarily into transportation, regulation, and protection. It distributes blood cells, water, and dissolved materials including nutrients, waste products, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. It also distributes heat and assists in control of body temperature. Our cardiovascular system has protective mechanisms. We have immune cells that can travel through the lymphatic system as well as the blood vessels. In addition, blood can clot, which protects against its excessive loss from the cardiovascular system after an injury. A cardiologist specializes in diagnosing and treating diseases of the cardiovascular system. The lymphatic system consists of a fluid called lymph, vessels called lymphatic vessels that transport the lymph, a number of structures and organs containing lymphatic tissue such as the spleen, the thymus, the lymphatic vessels, the lymph nodes, tonsils, and red bone marrow. The lymphatic system has three primary functions. The lymphatic vessels drain excess interstitial fluid from tissue spaces and return it to the blood, and it also transports lipids and lipid-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E, and K, which is absorbed by the gastrointestinal tract. In addition, the lymphatic tissue initiates highly specific responses directed against particular microbes or abnormal cells. Lymphologists are doctors who are specially trained in the diagnosis of and therapy for diseases of the lymphatic system. The respiratory system consists of the nasal cavities, the sinuses, the larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs, and alveoli. The primary functions of the respiratory system is to provide for gas exchange. This is the intake of oxygen for delivery to body cells and the removal of carbon dioxide produced by body cells. It also helps regulate blood pH, and in addition, it contains receptors for sense of smell, it filters inspired air, and it produces vocal sounds for communication. The branch of medicine that deals with the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the ears, nose, and throat is called otorhinolaryngology. Oto referring to ear, rhino refers to nose, and laryngo, which refers to voice. A pulmonologist is a specialist in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the lungs. Organs of the gastrointestinal tract are the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, the small and the large intestine. The accessory digestive organs include the teeth, the tongue, the salivary glands, the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. Overall, the digestive system performs 6 basic processes. So first is ingestion. So this is the process that involves taking food and liquid into the mouth, or in simple terms, this is also known as eating. And then second is secretion, or the release of water, acid, buffers, and enzymes into lumen of the GI tract. And the digestive system is also responsible in mixing and propulsion of food through the GI tract. It is also responsible in the mechanical and chemical breakdown of food, which is also known as digestion. The digestive system also helps in the absorption or the passage of digested products from the GI tract into the blood and lymph. And lastly, the digestive system also is responsible in defecation or the elimination of feces from the GI tract. A physician who specializes with the structure, function, diagnosis, and treatment of diseases of the stomach and intestine is called gastroenterologist, while a general surgeon who has undergone further training in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the colon, rectum, and anus is known as a proctologist or a colorectal surgeon. The urinary system consists of 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 urinary bladder, and 1 urethra. The urinary system is responsible in the excretion of waste products from the blood. It also controls water balance by regulating volume of urine that is produced and stores urine prior to voluntary elimination. In addition, it regulates blood ion concentrations by regulating the blood levels of several ions, most importantly sodium, potassium, calcium, chloride, and phosphate ions. It also helps regulate the blood pH by excreting a variable amount of hydrogen ions into the urine and conserve bicarbonate ions, which are an important buffer of hydrogen in the blood. Nephrology is the scientific study of the anatomy, physiology, and pathology of the kidneys. The branch of medicine that deals with the male and female urinary systems and the male reproductive system is called urology. A physician who specializes in this branch of medicine is called a urologist. The male and female reproductive organs work together to produce offspring. In addition, the female reproductive organs contribute to sustaining the growth of embryos and fetuses. The major organs of the male reproductive system includes the testes, epididymis, ductus deferens, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, penis, and the scrotum. The main function of the male reproductive system is to produce male sex cells and hormones. The female reproductive system consists of the ovaries, uterine tubes, uterus, vagina, labia, clitoris, and the mammary glands. The female reproductive system is responsible for the production of the female sex cells and hormones, and it also supports the developing embryo from conception to delivery, and it is also responsible in the provision of milk to nourish the newborn infant. Gynecology is the branch of medicine dealing with the study and treatment of disorders of the female reproductive system, while obstetric is the specialized branch of medicine that deals with pregnancy, labor, and the period of time around 6 weeks after delivery. An OB/GYN is a physician who specializes in both gynecology and obstetrics. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and the notification bell so you can get updated every time I post.